Welcome to the Across the Pond Sports Network's WNBA podcast, Across the Pond Liberty. I'm Stacia.
And I'm Kirstin.
And Kirstin just needs to say right now how wrong she was about the last three games that had to do with the Liberty. Because the Liberty went, what? 3-0. Not 2-1. 3-0.
The one time that I decided to flip-flop and be a little bit edgy, a little bit less positive, and I was wrong. And I'm very glad and I'm very impressed that I was wrong for the Liberty's sake. But alas, here we are.
I can tell you, I am surprised that you're wrong because we had different starters out for two of the games. Stewie was out for the second Chicago game and for the Connecticut Sun game, and Benijah was out for all three games, making sure her knee gets time to heal, and she just had a surgery, so that's going to take like 3-4 weeks, so she should be back right when everything happens, so speedy recovery to her. And
For those still listening, that is Stacia's dog.
My dog does not get very antsy about things, but we have someone moved in my apartment beneath me that has a dog, so and then she's just whining. So that's a nice little fun thing. So I muted it, but yeah, she's a little whiny. She normally isn't. So there you go. This is what happens when you record and you can't help calm the animals. All right. So I'm happy that made me so happy. We're gonna get into this game. So First game against the Sky in this nice little 3-game series. The Liberty pull it out 91-76, but this game was pretty close throughout the whole game. At one point in the second quarter, the Sky took a 13-point lead, 37-24, but the Libs ended the second quarter on a 14-2 run, I believe, to close the gap to only 2 at halftime, and then just beat up the Sky in the last quarter, 28-14. And this has been interesting because we talked about like the Liberty still have, because of how well they've done against like Indiana in like the first 3 games, they still have one of the biggest like point totals, like plus totals from the first and fourth quarter for the league, as in outscoring someone in the first quarter. And it hasn't happened much recently. It's been a struggle, and they've been coming back in like the second and the third. And the broadcasters on Tuesday said that about the Sun, because the Sun is like one of the best in the league in second and third quarters, and then Liberty is still up there for the first and fourth. But it's starting to like level off, but they are being more consistent throughout the whole game. So how do you think that is going to continue to affect them if they're not jumping out in that first quarter the way that they were in the beginning of the season, since they've started kind of like leveled off the past few games?
Well, I think the fact that they are kind of leveling off does, to an extent, work in their favor because, like we've seen recently, I mean, in this game, for example, all of the quarters were pretty consistent, and in the fourth quarter, we absolutely killed the Chicago Sky. But like what we've seen in previous games is that we tend to significantly underperform in one quarter, and it's always compensated for by either the first, like a kickstart in the first quarter, and then a strong finish in the fourth. So I think with it kind of leveling off a bit more, it sounds like, okay, we're not performing as strong and as well in the first and fourth, but it does mean that those other quarters we're not as significantly underperforming. So I do think it works in our favor, and I think it pays to have a bit of consistency because you don't want to have a game where your momentum is constantly up and down and up and down. I think the best way to play is to be consistent.
Yeah, I like it. I like how this is working out because they're doing very well staying in games, and there's not like such a big momentum shift. So then even in your head and your body, you don't have to be like, oh, we got to make a run now. Like, no, we're playing well. Now we just need to like turn it up just a few notches instead of after we've cranked it so many notches, then dropping. And then it's like, oh, we got to do it again. Because that takes a lot of like emotion too, just to get your body to get in that mind space to go. So it's interesting. We're happy with our, like, awesome first quarters, but it's like, "Okay, now just don't take your foot off the gas." Um,
Yeah.
don't take your foot off the gas. Alright, so in this game, except for Sloot, all starters were in double figures. Stewie had 19, JJ had 18, Phoebish, someone that you're gonna see besides Stewie and Sabrina, had 13. Sabrina had 21. She's just consistently being that Eastern Conference Player of the Month, like she has been, just killing it. And then off the bench, Kayla Thornton had 16. I was trying to think what exactly my friend said about Kayla Thornton because she hit 4 or 5 from three and was just like a spark plug, and especially in that fourth quarter. And I called her like Pizza Papa Texas or Texas Papa Pizza because she loves Texas Papa John's pizza. And then my friend said something like she deserves all the pizza in the world after how she played in this game. And it was just another reason to love Kayla Thornton. That she had 4 or 5 from three, and it was just enjoying it. And the fans got very, very loud when she tipped the ball and then pretty much ran through a tunnel because she couldn't stop herself from moving. And I just watching Kayla Thornton when she's just on and disrupting everything, I think is one of the greatest joys of like the Liberty because people that don't know too much about it may not know about her, but we know about her so much and how much she just kills it with all of the energy.
Yeah, she and this is something we spoke about a lot last season where we would talk of Kayla Thornton as being kind of like this underrated player on the team who does all the dirty work, does all all the fundamentals, all the defense. She's not too flashy, she's not getting all the highlight reels, but she's just working hard every time she's on the court. I think that is still true for her, but this season I have really, really enjoyed watching Kayla Thornton play, and I think she's been a bit of a cheat code for us. I've had some games naturally where your starters and the players you rely most on have their dips, have their bad games, and Kayla she comes on. She has had so many highlight reel games. She comes on just like you said, absolute spark plug. She she is a player that is gifted with the rare ability to completely change the momentum of a game just by stepping on the court. And I think that's something that, like we spoke about earlier, is and has been very important for our Liberty team this season, where we have had such a fluctuation in our momentum. Yeah, Kayla just awesome player, and really cool to see her getting quite a lot of 3-point shots this season too. It's really cool to see her play, and you just feel it like especially when we're playing at home and Kayla comes on, she's making those shots, players aren't stepping up on her, um, and she makes the shot and everyone goes crazy and everyone's just hyping up. Everyone's so happy to see her succeed and to perform so well. And that is just how she is so able to change the momentum of the game so quickly.
Well, and you mentioned her three pointers, so she's shooting more this year. She's like 1.3 of 3-3, like it was what the averages come out to be. But in easier terms, last year she shot 31.3% from the 3 point line. These are fun things to say, three so many times. This year, she's shooting 38.5%. So that is a huge increase of 7%. This is the best she's ever shot from the 3 point line in her career. And so that is just a spark plug. And we can't emphasize enough how much we love Kayla Thornton. And I know we've been like very big on Phoebish this year because Kirstin has to love her Europeans. And
Of course.
um, also she's new to playing forward, so she's got like the rookie, even though she's an experienced rookie coming from the Euros. Yeah, but Phoebish is a different one because she has to guard someone all the time, and I'm going to get into why I love who they put her on guarding wise. But Kayla's always going to be defensive stopper and energy. But Phoebish has, I think, been getting more press um, than Kayla, just because people weren't expecting it. I think people expect Kayla Thornton to be a spark plug, and so we're gonna just give love on this because it was just so much fun watching her just hit all the threes, and it's like, "Yeah, that's right, girl, just keep nailing them." Um, and then for the Sky, I'm gonna say that Kennedy Carter had a 22-point game. The reason I'm mentioning this is I will get to it because this game and then the Chicago Sky's game after they played the Liberty against the Aces, she had 34 points. That made my mom mad, and I'll get to that in a little bit. But Angel had 10 rebounds and 10 points. So she barely gets the double double. Barely gets it. I'm just gonna say that right there. Barely gets it. But the Sky had a lead and then just couldn't do anything in the fourth quarter. But I also am just very appreciative for the Liberty's defense because they turned it up a couple notches to only have the Sky have 76 points. If you only allow a team 76 points, most likely you're gonna win unless you're playing Minnesota, because Minnesota's like wants you to have under 70 points, I swear all the time. But this was just another good game for the Liberty, being down a starter in Betnijah, and yeah, so it's a good win, good comeback win, and they're doing well, our Libs.
They are. And I think this is the other thing that really just has worked in our favor this year is that we've had such reliable bench players to come in and fill in when our starters aren't healthy. And it's incredible to think that we've had Bitnija, she's been out often. We've had a couple games where Sabrina's not played, where Brianna's not played, and we had a very long stretch where Courtney was also not able to play. It's incredible to think of how many games we've played this year without all of our starters, and the fact that we're top of the league, we are currently 21-4, is crazy. That just
Yep.
shows the depth of our team.
Well, speaking of depth, we're gonna get into game number 2 of the week, which was in Chicago versus Sky. So 2 games in 2 days, a game that I was lucky to be at. Liberty win 81-67. So go to this game. Starters are put up on the board. I see Kennedy Burks up there, and I was like, why wouldn't Kayla be starting if Betnija's, still hurt, which I assumed. And my mom just goes, "Where's Stewie?" For some reason, my mind was blocked, and I didn't see that Stewie wasn't listed on the starters. And then I looked down, I'm like, "Oh, she's there in street clothes." And I was like, and in my head, I was like, "Oh my god, Kirsten's right. We're gonna lose the game. We're gonna lose the game that I'm gonna be at." And Kirsten was right. And I literally at that moment was just thinking about how much I wanted to reach through this phone and this internet connection and just slap you across the face. I was like, she's got it. Stewie's out, but Nash is out. What are we gonna do? And I was just beside myself. And then the first quarter happened, and the Liberty get down by 7 points, and JJ missed some blockouts, and Cardoso had some points, and I was like, "It's happening. It's happening. Oh my god. I can't believe this is
I've jinxed
happening."
it.
I was like, "This Scottish woman is gonna make me so mad right now, so many thousands of miles away, and I was just so mad at you, like, in my head." I was like, "I'm just you're just so." And then and then the second quarter happened, and the Liberty outscored the Sky in the second quarter 29-13, get up 43-34 at the end of the second quarter just by pushing the ball, playing well, getting under the Sky's, like, I swear they made the Sky mad. And, Mabry, who had a game for herself, had a technical near the end of the second quarter, which was fun. There was a couple other technicals, we're gonna get to those. But then I was like, at the end of the second quarter, I was like, "Okay, I don't have to slap her through the internet. This is good. Keep it going. Keep it going." And then once they took the lead in that game, nothing ever stopped. Dojkic came in, had herself a game. It was just so much fun. JJ had some easy shots that she missed and then started making a few. And Sabrina did not shoot well from 3 until the fourth quarter, and then, like, mean mugged her face, like, looking at everybody when she was hitting threes. But Dojkic came off, had 12 points, hit 2 or 3 from 3. Sabrina, I think, was 2 of 4 in the fourth quarter. Besides that, I think she was 2 of 10 for the game. But it was a really, really good win for the Libs. Phoebich had a good game. Um, I don't see, and this is funny because Kayla Thornton didn't have any points this game, and they still win. Bench had 7. It's just Sabrina ended up with 28. I it This was a
Yeah.
really fun game to be at. There was so many Sky fans that were mad, and I was just repping my Lib stuff, just having a ball. So I got to see another win. They're 2-0 when I'm around. Just want to throw that out there. They should invite me to the finals or to any playoff thing.
You're the
So,
good luck
yeah.
charm.
I
Apparently,
am.
I'm
I
not.
mean, no, you're not. 2 games. I mean, 2 games. I mean, that is definitely all the luck they need. Just me being at 2 games. Yeah.
Yeah, precisely. And yeah, on this game as well, what we pointed out before we started recording is that we only had 5 turnovers in the game, which is like crazy, crazy. Especially considering we were down quite a lot in that first quarter, you'd expect that there was, a lot more turnovers, a lot more silly mistakes that led to that. But no, only 5 turnovers for the game. Um, and yeah, just the craziest thing is we had Kayla Thornton on 25 minutes. She didn't score. She just absolutely hustled the whole game. And without her scoring, who is basically our best sixth man,
Yeah.
we still win the game. Like,
Yeah.
it's crazy. Without 2 starters, without Thornton scoring, we still win the game. Crazy.
Yeah. It was so much fun. Phoebish started off guarding Kennedy Carter, and then at one point in the first quarter, she was guarding Angel, I believe. So that's just how versatile she is at 6'4" with length. She's guarding the fastest player, one of the fastest players in the league, and then one of the most tenacious rebounders in the league. Um, but it was just it was so controlled, and it was nice to see Mabry play since she doesn't play for Chicago anymore since she's got traded to Connecticut, which I'm gonna switch gears on that right now. We play Connecticut, like, what, one more time? Connecticut's trying to make a play, in my mind, for winning this thing, getting Mabry. Also, there needs to be some TikToks or something about Mabry and Dejanay because they've had some, like, nice little kerfuffles. I'm gonna use that word, kerfuffles, in the past. So I wanna see them together in, like, something that's fun. But how much more dangerous is Connecticut now that they have another scorer? And also, Chicago, I think that this is not a good trade for you. So why for Chicago? Good
No.
job, Connecticut. Why Chicago?
Yeah.
Why?
Exactly, and this is why I DM'd you about this trade, and I just was like, "This makes no sense to me." Like, I cannot get my head around Chicago's thinking here. They've
Yep,
lost an absolute asset in Marina Mabrey. And yeah, like you said, Connecticut gaining another shooter is dangerous. So
yep.
who's to say? Who's to say how we're gonna fare? But we are superstitious on this show, and we did really well against Connecticut last season. We've not lost to them this season, and I'm gonna hold down that our Liberty are not gonna lose to
We're
Connecticut.
solid.
Doesn't matter if
Yeah.
Neighbour's there. We're solid. We got it.
But why I'm very curious on why, because Mabry was the reason that they were in that game. She had 21 points. Before the 4th quarter happened, she was their leading rebounder, and then Angel got, like, 6 boards in the 4th quarter. She had 12 rebounds. She's a good rebounding guard. She's worked her way into being a starter. She's a good shooter. It just doesn't make sense, especially for what Chicago got. They got Banham and Jefferson and a first round pick, Chicago did, in 2025 from Connecticut, like Connecticut's first round pick. Well, Connecticut's first round pick in 2025 is gonna be either 10, 11, or 12. Like,
Yep.
it's not a top 5 pick. And so we've shown that, like, 10, 11, and 12 picks usually, like, hang out on the bench for a while if they get to make a roster. So that I
Yeah.
just like this is about the only thing I was like, what is the locker room vibe in Chicago? Is there something that's off there? But also, I've seen Mabry film TikToks before, like, with the team, so she's there filming. She may not be in them, but I've seen her film some things on her socials. But is there something we don't see? That's I think one of the biggest things on that. Is there something we don't see
Yeah.
with that?
Well, it could be that, and I think also with Chicago having such young and well-performing players as Cardoso and Reese, maybe they're just trying their luck to try and build a young team that they can develop in the future. But like you said, it doesn't make sense with um the first round draft pick of the Connecticut Sun, which is not going to be a particularly high pick for them. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's kind of it just doesn't really make sense to me, to be honest with you. But I do think the Sky I mean, maybe they have something up their sleeve, or maybe they've been absolutely swindled by the Sun. I don't know. Or maybe they just don't want the Liberty to win. Maybe they're like, you know what? We actually don't care as long as the Liberty don't win.
I mean,
You
that
know?
seems wrong for Teaspoon to say. I'm
Yeah.
gonna throw that out there. I was like, last year she was making a video about how Stewie was the first Lib player to ever win MVP of the league. So if that's Spoon, I'd be like, that's a hard no. Like, I mean, I like the idea to be like, well, we're gonna stop you. But yeah, it's just an interesting one. So we'll see how that pans out. But I feel like this is gonna work out well for Connecticut. So getting back to the game, since talking about how Mabry had a good game and got a technical, but I'm going to go back to what I said about Kennedy Carter having a good game in New York and then had a great game in Vegas. She only had 7 points. She got kind of a few fouls early, but then didn't play like the rest of the first half. And then in the third quarter was still sitting. And I know Michaela Onyenwere had a good game and came in off the bench and did well. But Carter didn't even play much in this game, and she only ended up with 3 fouls. My mother was mad because she was excited to see Kennedy Carter because my mom likes a jump shot. And so Kennedy Carter having 2 good games, not when my mom was there, kind of perturbed her. Um, but one thing that did make my mom happy was to see the double streak end. Angel ends up with 16 points, 16 rebounds in 8 points. And I just want to say again that I said this was going to happen. I said 3-0. I said I'm going to see this double streak in
You
because
did.
I saw the ultimate double double-streak in college basketball from Courtney Paris end, and I did say I was going to fact check this. I said 122 in a row. It was 112 in a row out of 100 and like I think 37 total games in her career. So she had, I think she had 128 total double doubles in her career out of 137 games and 112 in a row. So Angel's double double streak comes to an end, and then immediately she gets, a double double against Vegas. But I saw it end. I saw the greatest double double streak in WNBA history end as of right now. So it's always nice when you see history end. And I
I
also
can't believe you predicted that as well.
I did. I
Like,
just
of
I am
all games.
I'm also the double streak ender, apparently, the record
Yeah,
double streaks. Courtney
yeah.
Paris, you can blame me on that one, and Angel, you can blame me on this one. But
You better
at the end of the
actually,
game,
you might need to, tone this down because you never know who's listening to this podcast. They might be
you
out to
shut
get
your
you.
face right now again. You shut your face again. You just shut it. You just shut it. Well, and then it was interesting because the game was over, and then she was trying to get the 2 points, and then 3 people surrounded her, and then Sabrina was in the area, and it was pretty much like we didn't care who anybody else scored. The Libs were like, "No, this isn't. Nah, this isn't gonna happen. You're not gonna get the
I
two
respect it.
points." Yeah, and she had some layups that she coulda hit that woulda had it, and then there was another time where she had a really good they outletted or they had a long pass to her, and she had a Liberty player in her back, but Mabry was coming down the other side of the lane, so she passed it to Mabry for the wide open layup because she would have been able to make that layup, but had the pass, and I think the broadcaster, I think Pam Ward said, does the very unselfish thing. Yeah, that was the right move to give that little baby pass, so she had multiple opportunities to hit it. So I mean, I don't feel bad. She already has a record, and I will just say this right now: she's gonna break her own record. Like I feel like
Yeah,
she'll break her own record. So she'll
yeah,
have an even longer one the next time she does it. Hell, it may be the rest of the season. Who knows? But yeah, so it's all history. So there you go. And we're not gonna talk about double streaks ending. Michaela Inouye had a good game. Sabrina came alive. Dojkic off the bench did well. And then I'm going to throw out that Niara Sabli had 6 points and played really well. And her and JJ were in at the same time, which we haven't seen. So it was nice to have the two bigs in there just to see how they were playing off each other. And I really kind of loved that. It doesn't have to be for like a long time during the game, but it was just really good. Sably is a good passer. She made the easy shots and just added a little bit off the bench with her 6 points. So I've been aching for her to get back to play. So Sably with 6 points off the bench, I felt like that was huge.
yeah. Absolutely, especially with her just being so like inconsistent with her ability to play this season, which has been a real shame. It is so nice to see her on, so nice to see her playing with JJ. And honestly, selfishly, I'm just really glad to see that she's back playing again because hopefully that means I get to see her this week.
Yes.
Um, for those that don't know,
Yes.
seeing the USA and the Germany showcase game this Tuesday in London, so I'll get to see a bunch of our libs playing. I'll get to see them competing both on the US and the Germany side. So I'm glad to see that Sabali and Fabish will be playing for the German team. I'm just so
I
excited.
I know. I
Um,
mean, there's hope for Satu. Like, I don't know if they've eliminated her yet, have they? Is she gonna
so
get to?
I saw her post today, um, of her in the German Olympic uniform, and she was making a post like so thankful to have like made the team, made this opportunity, and all the comments were people saying, "When are you gonna play back in the W?" But from that post, I believe that she is playing for the team.
That's great. That's
Yeah,
great. See, so this
yeah,
this makes me happy, not only that fact that you get to see her, but it's nice to know that we've seen, like, similar players play. Like, we've seen the
yeah,
Ducks. We're just going for the Oregon Ducks right now. 2 Sabalis and Sabrina. Yeah, they're all Sabs. SAB,
yeah.
for all 3 of
Sab,
them. Just the Sab
yeah,
trio. So I'm very happy. I'm happy that you get to see Phoebish. She's just I think she's just like a cool, calm and collected. And it's gonna be interesting to see him play internationally because it's a different game internationally, and then just on different teams. So yeah, you're gonna have a ball. And I was trying to
yeah,
think if you are gonna see players, yeah, you're gonna see some players that I haven't seen on the Olympic team. Like I've never seen AT play on the Olympic team, and I'm trying to think if AT and Chelsea Gray and Copper. I think those are the only 3 I haven't seen play on this year's Olympic team. So, you can rub that in my face all you want. I actually really want to. So, whenever we do another when they play the Sun or they play the Mercury and the Aces, you could be like, "Oh, have you seen them?" Be like, Shut your face. Rub it."
absolutely.
I look forward to that. Alright, so 3rd game of the week, playing Connecticut. Stewie's still out. The Knights is out, and it's Connecticut. So what do you think is gonna happen, viewers? What do you think's gonna happen? It's Connecticut. The Libs win 82 to
Yeah.
74. I mean, you already know what's
Oh
gonna
yeah.
happen. You said they went 3-0. They do outscore in the first quarter 28 to 23, and then they have a little dip in the second and third quarter. So everybody just played their roles. Connecticut outscores in the second and third quarters, and then we outscore in the fourth quarter by 8 to win by 8 and hold the Sun to only 11 points in the fourth quarter. 11 points.
Damn.
So during
Yeah.
this stretch, during this stretch of games, 74 points were scored against, like, the Sun scored 74 points. The Sky in the second game scored 67 points. And then the game before that, it was 76 points. So no one in that stretch scored 80 points on the Libs. In my mind, there has been such a transition for the Libs this year defensively because they are playing so much better because they're not shooting the three as good as they did last year, right? It's just a different mentality about actually putting defense first. And I just wish they would have been able to do that in the Commissioner's Cup to get money. But they are better defensively and they still score a lot. And they don't have to be the best in the league at defense, but just to be a little bit better is one of those little tiny notches they have to turn to win a championship. So the Libs as a defensive team, what do you think? Are they now?
Um, I think that we are looking a lot more consistent. I think at the start of the season and in some of the games that we have lost, which have been very frustrating losses that we've had to say the least. I do think we have slightly lacked that consistency on our defense, and I think any issues that we end up having with our games tends to be that we're way too offensive heavy. I mean, we have an absolutely like offensively stacked team. We have shooters. We have um, just some of the most skilled players who can just shoot in any given circumstance. But I do think that that sometimes leads to a very fast-paced, offensive-heavy game where you're essentially just exchanging basket for basket. So I do think our defense is improving, and I think that our numbers that we've held teams to lately does represent that. I wouldn't go so far as to say yet that we are there, that we are that team. But I think we've had a lot of games lately where we've had like Sabrina having just so many steals because she stepped up on her defense. She's been a lot more aggressive. We had Kayla Thornton in one of the Chicago games. She had 4 steals herself. And Sloot is always a reliable person as well that you just know she's gonna get a couple steals every game too because she's just very quick and because she's quite short. She's just a lot lower to the ball and a lot more agile in terms of her ability. So I do think that we are getting there. We're not there yet. We certainly do have improvements to make because I do think our offense is a lot more consistent than our defense is, I would say. But we are looking a lot more aggressive, and I think that's really worked in our favor.
Well, and I do like what you said because I think we've talked about this with Sabrina, and she's had a different role this year because Sloot's been out and she's been taking more of the point, so she's got more responsibility. But in the offseason, it's first saying it again. It's first year she hasn't been rehabbing an injury, like a big injury, uh, and she's gotten quicker and adapted, and that has been huge because she's more aggressive, and so the aggression is working well. And I think we're smarter defensively, but the help defense is good, and it's just it's so much more complete. And I agree with you; it could be a little bit tighter at times because we have like little lulls, but for the most part, just very impressed with how much the defense has improved, especially because I mean 3-point shooting is down like 7% as a whole this year than it was last year. But also the evolution is they had a game where they shot 42 threes, and then the next game when they played Connecticut at the kids game, when the kids were screaming so loud that they had to plug their ears, they only shot like 13 threes and still won. So they know that they don't just have to rely on it. And I like that mentality going in and be like, we're going to do this. And they executed. So in this Connecticut game, here's an interesting one. There's only 2 players in double figures for the Libs this game. One of them, surprisingly, was Sloot with 10 points. I was not ready for that. She had some layups. She was aggressive, 4 or 5 from the field in 20 minutes, slowly getting her feet back under her, 1 or 2 from 3. And the other person was Sabrina, who had 30. But, you know, 2 don't, like one's 30 and one's
Casual.
10. Casual, just easy casual 30.
Yeah.
Um, Points for JJ. Kendi Burke started again, 9 points. Phoebish has 9. Everyone that played scored. Thornton had 7 points off the bench. Sabali had 2, and then Dojkic had 7. It's just 82 points, but everybody scored, and especially when you got 16 points from the bench, and then just the consistency. Um, Consistently getting close to 20 points, I think, from the bench. Anywhere from 15 to 20 is just huge. And not only that, there is no downslide when the bench comes in, defensively or offensively. They look like a very well oiled machine. And there's a part of me that does not want the Olympic break. I want Nyjah to get healthy. And I want Stewie to be healthy. And she played in the All Star game. So we know she's fine. She's just resting the hamstring. But I'm like, I don't want to break because I want to keep riding this because they're doing so well right now. So I hope that the break, gets Nyjah back and good to go, and everybody's and Sloot comes back better with a month off. But I also am just like, let's keep this going. So I'm anxious and excited for a break, but I'm also like, no, I don't even know how to
Yeah.
describe it. Things can be true, you know.
Yeah.
Play it
And
so
and
well.
it's tough because, like, it's not just that it's a break, it's, like, a very exciting time. It's the Olympics, it only
Mhm.
happens every 4 years, and we just have such a stacked Olympic team this year, and with the coverage that the WNBA has been getting this year, it is just a different kind of excitement that you kind of feel around the league this year, so it's tough because you are so excited to be able to witness this, witness so many great players. Everyone watches women's sports, exactly. Um, to see people representing their countries and to feel confident that like they're making a name for themselves. But at the same time, you have a lot of teams, particularly the Liberty, who have been playing so well this like first part of the season. They've been so consistent, um, despite injury, and it is tough to know that we are going to be off for a month, and that just risks that we do lose that momentum, that we lose some of that fluidity because it's. I mean, it's not very common that a basketball league would have such a large break in the middle of the season. So it's going to be strange to kind of see how we tackle that with players not being able to train with their team. Well, all players not being able to train with their team during that time. But it will allow for some rest. It will allow for some recovery for some players, and I do. It's weird. It's like a mixed bag of emotions. It's exactly what you're saying. You you're excited because of how special the purpose of the break is, but you're also kind of like, oh, but like I really hope that we can keep our foot on the gas and that we don't lose that momentum that we've got going right now.
Well, it's it is exciting. So as of right now, 2.5 game lead over Connecticut, sitting in first, 21-4, 12-1 at home, 9-3 on the road, 15-2 versus conference. Um, yeah, it's gonna be interesting. So I mean, we don't even have to say who our MVP is this year. Not like for the libs, but I mean like in the W. Everybody knows it's Asia. I don't even think there should be a second or third place vote this year for the media members. And whoever voted her fourth last year should not get to ever vote again. Let's just say that.
Agreed.
And Asia Session knows who it is. Who is it? Do I need to do hardcore
That's
research to be
drama.
like, who was this idiot? Yeah, but just everybody vote Asia. Be like, I'm gonna write in Asia for second and third, just all the votes. Uh, Rookie of the year, I mean, I'm going back to with Caitlin now. She had 19 assists the other day. 19 assists. Of course, they
Yeah.
lost. And they had that game where she was killer against Washington and no one else did anything. They lost after they beat us. But she had 19 assists, a new record because Sue, I think, had 18 in a finals game, and Sloot had broken it before on a pass to Quigley. I think when she got like her 16th, and then ended up getting a couple more. So Sloot had 18 assists. So you have two of the like two players that had the most assists have the most assists in WNBA history. And in her rookie year, had 19 assists the other day. She also is 13 assists away from breaking the rookie record for assist. Now it is going to be a little different because that was by Tisha Pinachero. Pinachero only had 30 games to do it in. Well, Caitlin has only 13 away and she's played 26, so she's going to break it in less games. So I've swung over to Caitlin. But we'll see on if Angel gets up there on her double doubles again, and if she busts out 20 rebounds a couple of times this year, because she could do that. And we'll see on the fourth time they play if Indiana wins head to head, then Indiana will be up 3-1. And Indiana's up just pretty much because they're up 2-1 on him in the standings, like a little bit better percentage wise winning over Chicago. So is it Angel or is it Caitlin for you right now?
Um, I this is tough because it just I think the flip flopping just demonstrates how intense and how close this race is. I think after Caitlin's 19 assist game, I do have to say I'm swinging in Caitlin's favor right now.
Yep.
And it's tough as well because well we've just had the All Star game where they've both set separate rookie records as well. Um, I believe
Just
Angel set the record for most rebounds by a rookie in an All Star game, and then Caitlin
yep,
Clark most assists by a rookie in an All Star game. It is Nick and Nick. It is
yep.
so difficult to make a decision, but I think I would say I am leaning towards Caitlin Clark because 19 assists in a game for anyone at any level is crazy. Crazy.
She had over 60 points, contributed over 60 points in that game against Dallas. And of course, like Dallas games are the ones where think like them and the Mercury almost had 200 points combined, and this one was close to 200 points again because Dallas does not play any defense. Like, cool, 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 cool. Like they do not play any defense this year. But yeah, but they won. They beat the
They won.
Fever. Yeah, the Fever gotta get a little. I think they have to get a little bit more focus on these games that they should statistically, by the standings, win. Even though it's not like saying Dallas is a bad team, they've been hit by injuries, and they can obviously score just crazy amounts of points. And Washington's been in so many games, just hasn't been able to finish it. And so it's just going to be interesting with those two. I'm going to throw out another question for a WNBA award. Who is the most improved player this year?
Ooh,
I can give you
this is
my
one I
answer.
yeah, this is one I actually haven't really thought about. Go on, give me your answer.
I think it's Dijonay, and she's been there, but she had I think this year because she's really in everybody's face. And I think she's going to make like all defensive team because if you look at her statistics for how players have scored less than they normally average when she's guarding them, I think that's gone up. Her shooting's gone up. She's a starter. I think last year it was slow coming for her, and then she's right there. But I really think Dijonay has got a case for that because I think she's going to be on the all defensive team, if not the first team, the second team. Um, I lean towards Dijonay. I was trying to think of anyone else that I could throw in there, and I got nothing. I was like, it's pretty much just Dijonay right now for me.
Yeah,
Uh,
I think that's a tough one to be honest. I have really not thought about it at all, but I think that does make a lot of sense to me. I think Dijonay's really stood out a lot this season, especially in the games that we have played against her, where she just yeah she's been performing really well. So I can see that. Honestly,
well,
I would support that as well.
well, and I also like the first few games. Indiana played Connecticut out the gate. They played him right away, and so she was guarding Caitlin. So she made it a point to just come out and get
Yeah,
her. So she immediately got a lot of press for how much she was just all over Caitlin and like a welcome to the league moment and was just ready to eat that up. And I feel like entering the season this year, her mindset is different and just attacking. And so I like my pick. I just don't know on how much the improvement is going to be enough compared to other players that I'm going to have to really kind of like look to see. You could also throw in, and it sounds weird, Dearica Hamby, because she's going to be on 3v3, and her numbers have significantly improved. But she's been such a good player, been the sixth player of the year multiple times. So I don't know if Dearica's going to get it because her points have improved, or it's just her that she's become a more reliable player than she was as like a sixth woman when she was in Vegas. And now she's had like a time to get her body in shape after having her second kid and adjusting to LA and Kurt Miller and coaching. So the other one I would lean to would be Dearica, just because those numbers have improved so significantly. Um, but also, I just believe that Dearica has had that in her, and it's just coming to the surface. So I don't know on which one, but I like my two D's on that one, Dejanay and Dearica. Like,
yeah.
let's go.
I read those selections. I definitely see the stronger case for Carrington for sure. I've been very impressed when I think back. Very impressed with her performance in the games that we've played against Connecticut. So yeah, I think that's a solid pick.
I mean, and then we've got one more. Her name's Kennedy Carter.
Yeah,
But are people
yeah,
going to want Kennedy knowing that this was in her all along and it's coming to the surface now? Or like there's the other one as this because it's always been there and now she has a coach that's brought it out of her more. And I feel like, playing and having this as like another shot has really helped. She's in a good environment for her to play. So those three, it just depends on what your markers are for most improvement when it comes to evaluations. But those three are the ones that come to mind the most. Yeah. So
yeah.
Dijonay,
You know
Dear
what?
Kennedy.
This
Yeah.
Olympic break, I'm gonna have a real long, hard think about this,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna come back with my top three.
I'm looking forward to it. Now, you did mention the Olympic break. So this is one of the few times where I am really, really big on saying America. Olympics. I don't like to throw that out there. I feel a little ignorant just going like America. But during the Olympics, I'm like, what? America. What are you
Yeah.
looking forward to the most at the Olympics this year? I've got a
What
few things. I've got a few things. What are your Olympics that you what are your sports that you like to lean toward watching more?
well, I mean, it absolutely goes without saying that I love watching the basketball. But besides that, I this is bad. I will watch a lot of other sports for purely for the entertainment, but not know a single thing about them, not really know many of the names of the big people that I should probably be supporting. But um I really like watching pretty much any of the athletics. See a lot of the like short length runs like your 400, 800. I quite enjoy watching the athletics and then also the gymnastics. I find that
And
so
we
interesting just to see the strength of these people and the way that they can just move their bodies is like it's I could not do that. That is one thing that stands out to me so much because I'm like even if I tried and I tried and I practiced, I could not do what you can do.
well, when you say athletics, you mean track and field, correct?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I gotta
Because I
translate.
feel like that's quite like a big like umbrella term as well. Athletics covers quite a lot of different events. Yeah.
I really want to see if Sha'Carri can win the 100 again. I'm pulling for her. Um, yeah, Sha'Carri Richardson. I wanna see her pull this out and take 100 meters away from the Jamaicans like she did at the Worlds. Come on, girl. Uh, Gymnastics is always big. Simone is the most incredible athlete I think I will ever see in my lifetime. Um, yeah, she's 4'8". They measured her as like her head got to like 12 feet in the air in a floor exercise. So girl got up 7 feet 4 inches. So she got up like taller than Shaq, I think is what they did that. That's where, yeah, taller than
That's
Shaq,
insane.
where her butt is. Yeah. That's what I'm really looking forward to. Swimming's always fun. But when you say like if
Swimming's
there's different
fun.
sports, yeah, if there's different sports. I love watching handball. It's such a weird one that you just never get to see. Handball is gonna be so much fun. Of course, basketball, volleyball's good. I want to see someone get hit in the face with a volleyball. I'm not kidding. That happened when I was in high school. An opposing team hit one of my former teammates because I was playing tennis at the time in the face, and it still is a favorite memory of me of watching them in volleyball. Just get jacked in the face. She was okay. That's why it's funny. But yeah, volleyball is great. Beach volleyball, indoor volleyball. It's it's so much fun. It's so much fun. It's the Olympics, and of course, um, football. For the Americans,
Yeah.
we call it soccer. So, but
Ball.
yeah, watch some
Yeah.
football. See if
And
see if the American women can do
one
something.
one rogue one as well is to watch the diving.
Oh yes,
I I am terrified. I've been up on some pretty high diving boards, and it actually brings the fear out of me. I cannot bring myself to jump off a diving board from like a few meters up. Never mind dive headfirst into it. I think that is so impressive.
I've got a nice little thing to make fun of me about my stubbornness and competitiveness. We went to this lake in a state next to us, and when I was, I believe, 17 years old, 16, 17. And so these people we were there with, they're like, "Oh, we're gonna go and do some cliff dives." So I think we're like, I don't know, like 40 feet in the air. And they're like, "It's safe here," and everybody did it and like gave the thumbs up when they're down there. So I did it, and then my mom did it, and they're like, "Well, we're gonna go again. Do you want to go again?" And my mom's like, "No, I don't want to." So I went again just to be better than my mother because she was nearly 50 when this happened. I'm just gonna let you know that I didn't want to go either time, but if my mom was gonna do it, I had to do it.
You had
So
to, yeah.
I had to. I had to be better than my
No,
old mom.
my mum would actually kill me if she found out that I jumped off a cliff. She would kill me.
It's safe.
That's
It
like
was
something
safe.
I honestly would I would be there, there would be 10 of my friends and they would all do it and I would say, "I'm not doing it. Sorry, I'm absolutely not doing it." I have just the absolute fear of jumping into water from heights. I just feel like
Well,
I'm just gonna land and I'm gonna be paralyzed. My cousin, she jumped off, like a port. It wasn't even that high up, and she slipped 2 discs in her back. She's the same age as
Ooh,
me.
that's not good.
So, yeah, not
Well,
about that.
if anything bad happened to me, I could just blame my mom because she encouraged it right there because she did it too, so I'd be like,
True.
"You did this. You did it.
It's your fault.
You made me do this. It's your fault." Yeah, just another backwards way to blame your parents for stuff. Yeah. Alright, so we got the Olympics coming up, so that means that we're gonna be on a long break, everybody. We're gonna be on a long break. We're gonna enjoy watching the Olympics as you should as well. Cheer for people. Hopefully no one gets hurt. Oh, also I also love to watch women in the fighting sports, like all the wrestling or
Oh,
jujitsu,
yeah.
and then women's powerlifting. And I'm gonna
Mhm.
throw out something else with the Olympics. I've got my everyone watches women's sports, and this is the first time that we've had an Olympics that's even when it comes to male and female athletes. So, and you said this earlier about how women's basketball is just becoming everybody's like consciousness. They're aware of it, they're paying attention, and I cannot believe that like Together has raised made $3 million selling the shirt that I'm wearing right now. Just came at the
Yeah,
right time. They sent it to Dawn Staley, like, "Where'd you get that sh" Someone sent it to me, and then she wore it on national television, and I don't know if there was a spike, but I would think there was a spike. And
surely.
now they have it in French, right in time for the
Yeah, they
Olympics.
they have a French version.
Yeah.
When I'm out there, I'm gonna see if I can get myself one.
Now here's a question,
Little
because
French number.
you do know some French. Do you know how to say this in French?
Oui.
Everyone watches sports?
Is it not, tout le monde regarde
There's something feminine
oh,
at the end. Yeah, see, I love how you're like, "Is it?" I don't
le
know, I don't
sport
speak French.
féminin?
Yeah, it's
Tout
something
le
like
monde regarde le sport féminin? I believe I'm
yeah,
probably butchering the pronunciation, but I should know this.
yeah. Yeah, I mean, you could look at it. You did send me a picture of your girl Marine wearing
I
it with
did.
Gabby. Yeah, so I was like, the French team's already rocking it because Gabby's got her Yukon connection with Sue Bird, and Marine's there, so they are rocking it, which I hope more people do, and you just watch, it's gonna come out in so many different languages now. It is gonna be unending how much this shirt is gonna be everywhere. It's
Yeah,
gonna be everywhere. But, to get back to what the real podcast is about, besides just celebrating all women in sports, our Libs are first right now in the WNBA at 21-4, going into this break, playing without starters this year and just still killing it. It is exciting for us to be in this because, like, last year we knew they were gonna be good. We didn't know how good they're gonna be last year because they were great last year, even better this year. Good luck to them. Good good luck to all our libs that are going to be in the Olympics, and good luck to all the Olympic athletes. And hope we can keep riding this train when they get back from the Olympics. That's just the biggest thing right now. Whew.
yeah. I'm sure we
Oh,
will. I'll send some blessings whilst I'm watching the game.
yep. I mean, I hope that we can have a second half of the season the way that Enrique had a second half at that All Star game.
Yes. We will be
34
channeling that
points.
energy.
Enrique during the Olympic years wins MVP, or maybe we can have as good of a second half of the season as Ali Gray winning $115,000 in her
Oh
skills
my
challenges, winning 3-point in the skills challenge, and she makes $185,000 a year, and she just got 115 bonus. So that's what we want the second half to be like. Those all-star performances. That's what we want from Enrique and Alicia Gray. So yeah,
we
that's what
got
we're going.
this.
That's right. All right. Well, for Across the Pond Liberty, I'm Stacia.
And I'm Kirsten.
See everybody in a bit.
See you guys.